back. The browser crashed. Yeah, certain things just don't like me. So this is part 2 of the views expressed. If you heard the first part, or if the first part is there, I read the first 10 articles of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I don't know, man. I'm trying to calm down because the browser crashed and it took me a hell of a long time to get back on, as you can tell. So, let's just laugh about this, shall we, folks? Shall we? Anyway. Okay, let's see if we got all this set up. JD, you can ring me up if you like, if we got it all set up correctly. So anyway, thank you, stupid browser. Anyway, somebody want to give me a better browser that works? I'm using the Mozilla Firefox. That's what I'm using. Yeah. You should sue him. Hey, I wonder who's that? The butterfly. Skype me. Use the Skype. And if you don't have, I think you have me on Skype, JD. ULC Rev 62. Just use that one, or if you're not on Skype, 775-241-4749. Okay. Oh, there you are, right there. Mobster Boss Radio. How you doing? Right there on my Skype. Says you're online. So there you go. So anyway, if it doesn't work, hey, we'll get through this one way or another. No big. Anyway. So, just waiting for JD from Mobster Boss Radio Live. Yes. Yeah, I use Chrome too. That one kind of screwed up on me at one point, and I don't know why. I guess I can go back using that one again. But today we're talking about, I'm going to break down the articles and what I believe are my views of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we're going to go through that and spend a little time. If you want to follow along, this is part 2 of the Views Express Live, because my browser crashed if you just joined us. So, sorry. That's all I can say. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check that out. Follow along on the articles there. You'll find some very interesting articles, like a general coming out and saying 9/11 is a fraud. Really? And other people say that 9/11, George Bush. There's a general that literally says that George Bush knew all about it, set it up himself, and, well, let's put it this way. The buildings crashed into the ground, into dust, and I know that 1,450 to 1,500 architects and engineers are not wrong. So there you go. Yes, it's a false flag event for George Bush to get himself and our army into, and our military, I should say, into Afghanistan and Iraq to take out Saddam Hussein because his dad couldn't do it. That's just the way it was. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know everything. So, but anyway, yeah, follow along, subscribe to the page, Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You can email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, Liberty and Freedom Network at usa.com. In the meantime, let's go over to Liberty and Freedom Network, shall we? While I wait for Mr. JD to call in. Yeah, go check out Mobster Boss Radio Live. It's an awesome show, by the way. Whoa. Well, hello there.
Hey, how you doing, Wayne?
Hey, doing good. You're kind of muffled, but that's okay. We'll get through.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on my phone Skype, so it's going to sound a little crappy.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so what's going on?
Breaking down the articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, comparing them to the Constitution, and finding out which one is better for the rule of law in this country. I'm going to really show that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a piece of caca.
Okay. I've got a question for you real quick. You call yourself Reverend Wayne Pierce, right?
Yeah.
Are you really a Reverend?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're really a Reverend with like a universal church type thing, or an actual...
It's Universal Life Church out of Modesto, California, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have a congregation and everything?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good deal. All right. Well, you've been on the air for a while, and Lester and Sonny and myself, we enjoy your shows. You.
By the way, I'm Sonny's here as well.
Oh, hey, Sonny, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're taking a platform on Spreaker, and you voiced your opinions, and it sounds great. You did a good job. We like your shows, and the fact that you can express your freedom of speech and your feelings on whatever laws or changes to laws or whatever might be affecting you and your followers, you have a place to voice those opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we had a question about that, because here you are expressing this deal about this, what'd you say, the universal...
Yeah, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Who wrote that?
The United Nations, and it was ratified by the General Assembly in 1948.
Ah, okay. Well, we were wondering, though, and I hope if you want to stay on topic, but we did have a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, we had a question about the fact that you express all of this sort of stuff, and you seem to take issue with other people that do express opinions about other people and situations.
In a way, I do, yes, until it's kind of like dropping a rock in the pond. You got the waves, and then until the waves settle down, and then you can see, you didn't know a rock dropped in the pond, but you want to see what's going on, so you wait till everything calms down, and you swim out there and go, oh, it was that. Okay, why was I so freaked out about that? And I have to.
The way that I look at that is kind of like skinny dipping with a chick. You watch the chick jump into the water, and you stare at her boobies all day while you swim in the lake, and you get turned on, and maybe go and finger dance with her, and so is that kind of the same line? It's making about as much sense.
I like the way you put that. That was I never thought of it that way, but that's an interesting.
We kind of have a unique way of putting things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like I think you took issue and decided to defend somebody out there against when I think Lester took off after somebody out there, and you seem to take issue with his opinion.
Only, again, it was a reaction that I have to apologize for, because I didn't know the whole issue. So I do apologize on that regard.
No, we're not looking for an apology. We just kind of wondered why the double standard.
Yeah. I gotcha. Again, it was a reaction. Again, I didn't know the whole issue until I really, heard it from the other person. You know who I'm talking about. Until I heard it from that side as well, and then I kind of sat back, put my hand on my chin, and went, "God, I was an ass." So, and I kind of, kicked myself in the butt for, a couple of days, and just kind of sat back.
That's okay. I don't think Lester took any offense to it. He just finished up his bottle of Jack and moved on down the road. I think he missed you, though, in one of his comments.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the deal: we get to see some of those comments as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much because Sonny and Lester and myself, we all share the same account.
Right.
To go onto Facebook, I don't like Facebook. I can't stand it.
Me neither.
Sonny doesn't have one. We go through Lester's and everything. So everything we see online and so on is mainly through Lester's. So a lot of these comments that we see, Lester has no idea that we're even calling. He did a show. He's with Sonny visiting down in Texas.
Yeah, he is.
As Ryan, he took off after the show. So, we see some of these things, and it's just questions. It's almost like you try to ride the fence a little bit, and when somebody's wanting attention, you kind of give it to them.
Well, in that sense, when you said ride the fence, it brought something to mind, and that was, you can ride the fence until somebody comes up and pushes on the fence a little bit and gets you off kilter, and again, it was a pretty much on my part a stupid reaction. And until I knew the whole, what the whole gist of the thing was and what it all meant, and then I went, well, I feel like a doofus, So it was that. And
so, by the way, I want to say hi to the Butterfly, who's in your chat room. I'm JD from Obster Boss Radio. We've got Sonny here as well.
Yeah.
And this is the views expressed with Reverend Wayne Pierce. And we're discussing an incident that happened, a week ago, Sonny?
Yeah, about a week ago.
Yeah, about that, about a week and a half ago.
We don't want to name any names and bring all that back up. We're just wondering, the main question is you're all about, freedom of speech,
right,
voicing your opinion, and so on. But then when somebody else does it, you kind of call them out on it.
Well, yeah, and I'm also, I'm fully responsible for what I say. I always,
Sure.
I always take that to heart, and I'm not always right. And in that situation, I wasn't. And I, am. You've probably heard before, and I'll say it again. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. And
Sure.
and it's always good. And I don't know where you guys stand on this, but it's always good that somebody hold me to that standard. I mean, it's always good to hold me accountable. Like I would hope that me or somebody else would hold you accountable for something. I don't mind.
And we hold ourselves accountable, Wayne. We truly, we know we run that edge, that gray area, that just on that edge of going too far. We know that.
Right.
And that's what we do.
Grandma downstairs.
I'm sorry?
Gray like your grandma downstairs.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Yeah, but we know we do, and we make no apologies for what we do unless we have said something that's like wrong,
Right.
and then of course we'll stand up. But and I'm glad that you take responsibility. But when I read those comments that you made, it was like you were talking down to everybody. And I got the impression that you had the insight on humanity and nobody else did.
Oh, by no means, no way. I mean, if that's the impression, yeah, I've been knocked off my high horse more than several times, and it's no fun, getting your butt kicked. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've heard on your show as well. I've heard you guys admit when you were wrong, so that's cool. I mean,
Sure.
Come on, But
well,
yeah,
I mean, we don't pretend to be right. We just pretend to not pretend, but we just stay. We pretty much hold the same line. We push the limits, and that's what this is all about. If everybody's always peace loved up, and then and everybody runs the same show, then there's only sense in having one show, and you guys can just trade on and off.
Yeah, it'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
So,
you don't have to like everybody to get along with everybody.
No. Somebody once said, and I saw it on one of my Facebook posts, it said, we can disagree agreeably. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like agreeing to disagree, and I guess we can do that to a point, but then again, like you said, you just...
By the way, to quote Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets, anybody that uses that phrase can shampoo my crotch.
Yeah. I got to see that movie,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hear usually that's some moron that's afraid to swallow his pride will say, we're going to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's usually some big fat vagina on the end of that thing.
Yeah. I don't use that phrase. I just use it as an example because and that's a cop-out. It's just literally a cop-out, and you're a wimp if you want to use it. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, we definitely think that because, we love doing the radio thing.
Yeah.
And JD and I are having to kind of clean up some of the things that we do because of this terrestrial radio gig that we've gotten.
Yeah.
But we're still going to be broadcasting on Spreaker, and if we want to call somebody a cocksucker, we will.
Well, okay.
There you go.
If I want to call somebody an ass, I can do that.
Yeah, you can. You can do that.
So.
All right, Wayne. Well, we just kind of wanted to call up and hopefully make sure that everything was okay.
Everything's fine. I made a stupid mistake. There you go.
Hey, Wayne, I've got a question for
Sure.
you. Again, it's about your show, so to speak. And I've seen people out there say that we're racist, a bunch of white pigs. Would you agree that your show is pretty much based and geared towards white people?
Against or for white people?
Most of the rights and everything you talk about in regards to rights and freedoms has to do with whites. Would you say that that's true? Or a majority of them?
Rights are for everybody. It doesn't matter if they're black, purple, polka dotted, or little Keebler elves. It's not specific.
To be totally honest, you're following one of these groups, the Southern Bible Belt religious kind of Southern ways of the old style Confederate type thing. Like you don't mind that the blacks are around, you respect them and so on, but a lot of your views and everything else pretty much caters to the white man. Would you not agree to that?
I never thought of that, but thanks for bringing that up. Gives me something to think about. I thought that I was more or less, giving my view on everybody's aspect of rights and liberties, not just white folk,
Okay. So it's just some of the topics that you talk about, and you've never come out and said anything racist.
No.
I can agree. But it seems that a lot of your topics, if you stand on the outside looking into this box that you call a show, this looks like a mixed jar of nuts for a bunch of white crackers from the South.
I never thought of it that way, but thanks for pointing that out.
Well, but I come from the South,
Yeah.
and pretty much a lot of the stuff that you talk about is started off as Southern thinking.
Oh, wow.
And Southern thinking definitely caters more to the white, crusty old guy smoking a black cigar.
Wow.
It's just the way it is.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I that's the way I see it as happening, and I think that maybe a lot of your show is, and maybe I don't think I think you are personally a genuinely good guy.
Oh, thank you.
But I think that a lot of what you guys preach out there is catered towards the white people.
I would have from that aspect, yeah, I would have to agree because I've studied the churches and I've seen a lot of stuff that I don't agree with,
Sure.
and I can tell you right now that there's a lot of intolerance all around, not just in the churches. But they are the biggest, purveyors of intolerance. And to me, I'm sick of that. It makes me want to throw up, and I never saw myself as anything other than, genuine, and everybody has a right to live and do what they want and have liberties that they deserve, but I never thought of it as being specifically coming from that Southern, aspect of it.
I guess my question is to you, Wayne, is, if there's a black guy named Jack and you helped him on the horse, would you help Jack off the
horse? God, I heard that joke in elementary school. Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
Well, if we didn't do anything else for you tonight, we gave you a laugh.
Hey, you guys, I love your guys' show, and I will definitely tune in. And I heard from someone that you guys are already broadcasting on terrestrial.
Yeah, we can't really talk. We can't really talk about that right this second. But
Yeah.
we're working on some stuff with that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Right.
Just keep me informed. I'd like to call into the show.
Yeah, and we'd like to have you for sure.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Anything else from you, JD?
Yeah.
All right.
Nope, he's done as well. All right, buddy.
No.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
hey, tell all your listeners to say hello to Mobster Boss Radio from time to time.
You bet.
Take care, White.
Yeah, actually, Wayne, if you could, we're looking for more followers on our Facebook page, and you don't have to agree with what we say.
Yeah.
You know, we welcome people that hate our guts.
Absolutely.
And start some sort of controversy and get a reaction from people, because let's face it, that's what radio is all about. It's about bringing people together with opinions and voicing those in whatever way you want to voice them. You want to call me a whack sucker, that's fine. and it's because you don't agree with maybe what I'm saying, and maybe I'll call you a whack sucker. But that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know, and in the big scheme of things, we're taking up each other's time with great discussion and maybe some laughs along the way. Form a friendship that's kind of fucked up, you know, like that neighbor that you hate, but you kind of get along with, and that's kind of what we are.
Yeah.
So look for us on Facebook. Our Facebook name is Mobster Boss Radio Live, and of course we're going to start putting our terrestrial radio shows online. We when you start something terrestrial, it's kind of new, and so you want to find your niche kind of thing. So we're just trying to get everything worked out, all the technical stuff. And once we get rolling and familiar with it, then we'll start broadcasting those online.
All right.
As well, yeah.
All right.
All right?
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Hey, man, thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right.
See you guys.
See you later, Wayne.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
And that was JD and Sonny from MobsterBossRadio.com. I will always... I'm going to make this decree now, and I've probably said it before. You can go back and check the archives of the shows. I have always said that I'm not always right, that I will be the first in line to admit that and to, hold myself accountable to anything. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to tell you, hey, because that's the way it is. Basic common sense. That's all. Just basic common sense. So thank you guys. That's JD and Sonny from Mobster Boss Radio Live. Go to Mobster Boss Radio Live on Facebook, like the page, go from there. Thank you guys for calling in. I do appreciate that very much. We also have Shillbilly Internet Radio in the chat room on the Spreaker side. We have St. Clinton there, and yes. Lots of things. So I'm going to go take a little break. Just a little one. Not long. It's only going to be just I don't know. Just a couple of minutes. It's not going to be long at all. It's going to be a little musical break. So, but remember, if you've got anything that you want to tell me, just email us. Email me straight at this radio show. Email me directly at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. More than happy to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So I shall return right after this little musical break. I am back. I am back. This is the Views Express for the 13th of December, 2012. How y'all doing out there? We just, if you missed, we had a call from, of course, JD and Sonny from Mobster Boss Radio Live right here on Spreaker.com. Go to their Facebook page, Mobster Boss Radio Live. Check that out. Or their website, mobsterbossradio.com. Check out their show as well. And, hey, they brought up, if you go back and listen to just before the break, they brought up some very, very good points. So I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you guys, if you're still listening. You guys, I mean, you brought up some fabulous points. And I really, really do appreciate that. So it makes me think, which is all I'm trying to get other people to do. But, you know, hey, you don't always have to agree with me. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, I'll be the first in line to admit when I'm wrong. Because you know why? I don't know everything. Sometimes I come off sounding a little haughty, a little above people. So, sometimes I have to check myself. You know what I mean? A little reality check. St. Clinton in the chat room, if you don't mind, I will, St. Clinton, I will repeat what you have said there in the chat room. Sorry, I'm going silent every once in a while. He says, I would totally disagree with that. I'd like to know what that was, as I have never heard anything here that favors any race. I think that this is the first time that I have ever really heard a conversation about race on this program. That's true, St. Clair. I'm not a racist. I have friends from every race, creed, and religion you can think of, and I appreciate everyone's input. I do get, and I have 2 ex-wives, so I do get called out on the carpet about how I take offense to other people's opinions. I don't take offense literally that they have an opinion. I take offense to the fact that they're going to tell me I'm wrong and contradict everything I say. That's what I take offense to. I mean, wouldn't you? If you knew that you had let me make it simple. 2 + 2 is 4. Going to contradict that? Prove it. This is what other people have told me. I'm going to tell other people they're wrong. They're going to come back to me and say, prove it. So, before I even allow them or get them in a situation where they're going to say that to me, I'm going to have all my ducks lined up in a row. So, and if I don't have them all in a row, that's okay. Again, like JD says, you don't always have to agree with everybody. It's okay. It's okay. There's not going to be a penalty flag being thrown on the field for any reason. Okay? So, no, I don't mention race on this show because I believe that everybody has a right to be who they are, no matter what they are, what color they are, whatever creed, religion, whatever. It doesn't matter. Everybody has a right to be a human being, so it doesn't matter. That's why I don't bring race up. And then you said the idea of the show being really geared towards any race is going to mess with my mind for a long time. No. But the point that they made was some of the things that I talk about, or that I bring up, basically began, and has its foundation in the South. But then the other thing came about was the race. I'm not racist. I never have been. I grew up in a very diverse area of Stockton, California. I have friends of every race, creed, color, religion, and you can think of. Doesn't matter to me. You're a human being. You got, hey, there you go. So, anyway, not to harp on that, but thank you, JD and Sonny, for calling me. I appreciate that very, very much. Have a great day. Enjoy. Um, Before the break, before they called in, I read you the first 10 articles of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So if you, I'm not going to read them again. So if you want to check them out, just replay the show when it's over. So let's go to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, ratified by the United Nations December 10th, 1948. Let's go to Article 10. Everyone is entitled in full equal. I'm going to go 10 because I read it before, but this is very important. Everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligations and of any criminal charge against him. That was number 10. That's what I left off on. Number 11. Number 1. Everyone charged with a penal offense has the right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. Number 2. No one shall be held guilty of any penal offense on account of any act or omission which did not constitute a penal offense under national or international law at the time when it was committed, nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offense was committed. Okay? Article 12. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to attacks upon his honor or reputation. Everyone has a right to the protection of the law against such interference or attacks. Number 13, Article 13, number 1. Everyone has a right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. In other words, you want to move to from California to Kansas, you can do that. Number 2. Everyone has a right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country. Could that be, I'm going on vacation to Switzerland and come back? Yeah. Will I move to England for 5 years and come back? Yeah, that's what it means. We have a right to do that. Article number 14. Everyone has a right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. Number 2, this right may not be invoked in the case of prosecutions genuinely arising from non-political crimes or from acts contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Article number 15, number 1, everyone has a right to a nationality. Number 2, no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change his nationality. To me, I'm still confused on that, but I think it simply means if I want to go from America, give up my, citizenship here and move to England, I can do that. And I have a right not to be deprived of that. Article number 16, number 1, men and women of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and to found a family. They are entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. Number 2, marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. Number 3, family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state. Article 17, number 1. Everyone has a right to own property alone as well as in association with others. Number 2, no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his property. In other words, somebody, you can go, to your best friend, to your family member, you guys can own property, whatever, and someone cannot come in and say, I'm taking it from you. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. Article number 18, everyone has a right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in a community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, or observance. I'm just going to go, there's 30 of them. I'm just going to hit the next few and actually go to Article 30. According to the clock here on the Spreaker console, I'm at 37 after. So got probably another 45 minutes to go. A little more than that, maybe. Article number 19, everyone has a right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek and receive and impart information and ideas through any medium and regardless of frontiers. Article 20, number 1, everyone has a right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Number 2, no one may be compelled to belong to an association. One word, unions. Can't compel anyone to join a union. Can't compel anyone to choose to, do that. Article number 21. Number 1, everyone has a right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. Number 2, everyone has a right to equal access and to public service in his country. Number 3, the will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. Let me read that first part again. Article number 21, number 3. The will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. Continuing, this will shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures. We the people, to form a more... see, that's part of the Constitution. Okay. Article number 23. Here's where it's going to get a little sticky. You're going to start reading between the lines here. You're going to examine this stuff. You can go look this up too. United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article number 23. Number 1, everyone has a right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment. Good so far, I believe, from my point of view. Number 2, everyone without discrimination has the right to equal pay for equal work. Now, I said those 5 words for a reason. Remember, many years ago, people were saying we want equal pay for equal work. Not only women, but guys too. We want, whatever. So, there it is. Article 23, Section 3 says, everyone who works has a right to just and favorable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an existence worthy of human dignity and supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection. Pay me what this job, this position is worth. I know how much I'm worth, but you belong to that company. You're doing that job. That particular position in other parts of the country is worth X. And in a part of the country where the cost of living is, way up there, then I want to get paid equivalent and fairly to where I'm taking care of my family. It says right there in section number 3, Article 23. Everyone who works has a right to just and favorable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an existence worthy of human dignity, and supplemented, if necessary, by other means for social protection. There you go. Number 4. Everyone has the right to form and to join trade unions for the protection of his interests. Now, tomorrow I'm going to touch upon right-to-work states some more. In past shows, I would just, do an overview, but I want to get into some specifics about why I believe they're a union destroyer. Right-to-work states do that. Or you can join a union or not, it doesn't matter, but, I'll get into that tomorrow. Article number 24, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, United Nations. Everyone has a right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitations of working hours and periodic holidays with pay. And all that sounds great, doesn't it? Article number 25. Number 1, everyone has a right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his control. Number 2, motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance. All children, whether born in or out of wedlock, shall enjoy the same social protection. It's all good, right? Article number 26, number 1, everyone has a right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made genuinely available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Number 2, education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace. Did you catch something there, folks? Number 3, parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. Article number 27. I'm almost done. Hang in there. Article 27, number 1, everyone has a right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in scientific advancement and its benefits. Number 2, everyone has a right to the protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he is the author. Article number 28, everyone is entitled to a social and international order. Are you catching me there, folks? Everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration can be fully realized. Article 29, number 1, everyone has duties in the community to which alone the free and full development of his personality is possible. Number 2, in the exercise of his rights and freedoms, everyone shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law solely for the purpose of securing due recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others and of meeting the just requirements of morality, public order, and the general welfare in a democratic society. Number 3, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Article number 30, the last one, thank you for listening. Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group, or person any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. Now, just going to give you my view of this and why, to me, it does not add up to the rule of law of the United States of America. It basically, in the last few articles that I read to you, says, do it our way, or you will, this is what will happen. We will go to the law of the United Nations and say, he violated this. Now, the Constitution of the United States of America and the Bill of Rights says you have a right to do something if it doesn't impinge on somebody else's right to do something, and you will be held accountable if you do something wrong by a court of law. By the way, the United Nations has an international international criminal court that they take people to. Now, what's the difference? The difference is, fundamentally, the United Nations would control everything, giving all control, as the President of the United States has done through executive order, everything he ever wanted to control this country, and the United Nations would back him doing that. Now, that's my opinion, and that is my perspective because of some of the research or a lot of the research I've done about the United Nations. Some of the things seem, as you can tell, seem really warm and fuzzy, and things are going to work, and it's okay, and it's fine, but you really have to take a look at what's happening. You have to look at the purpose of the United Nations taking over the United States. Will they? From my point of view, I would say yes. But overall, from the consensus of other people I've talked to, they speculate as to the United Nations taking over, and some people just totally deny the fact that it's ever going to happen. Well, there's a new world order, folks, and it's here. Okay? It's here. Okay? We are a North American Union on paper, and all President Obama has to do is sign a little document, and boom, giving everything to the United Nations. Now, put your thinking cap on. Squeeze that sucker on there tight, because you got to think about this for a minute. Here's a president of the United States who is a self-avowed, self-proclaimed, and literal fascist. Yeah. You didn't think so? Why do you think he's ruling by decree? Yes. He's governing by executive order. He's a fascist. Why do you think weeks after he was inaugurated in 2008 for his first term, why do you think, I think it was about that time, he went to Venezuela and shook hands with a known socialist? Huh? Joel Gilbert, an author, made a little film, Dreams of My Real Father. Okay? Frank Marshall Davis is Barack Obama's real father. Known communist. Has a record with the FBI. Shall I go on? Barack Obama's parents and grandparents, I believe his grandparents, were CIA. I'm speculating. But from the information I have received, I do believe it. So there's that edge, there's this, there's that. What do you believe? What don't you believe? You've got the picture, the portrait of the Mona Lisa hanging on the wall. You got another one sitting, just hanging right next to it. And the curator of the museum looks at you and says, tell me which one of those is the fake. And you can't really tell. Okay? Can't really tell, can you? And so you really have to put your thinking cap on. You really have to examine these things closely and ask yourself, what would be the purpose of the United States going over the fiscal cliff, completely collapsing. We've got a $17 trillion debt, usdebtclock.org. Go check that out. It's right there. That will never be able to pay back. So what's going to happen? Well, we are going to the people are going to have to do what needs to be done. Think about that for a minute. In 1773, I believe it was, a bunch of people got together and said, you know what, we don't like England taxing us anymore. I think it was 1773 or 1774, one of those. So this whole plan was conceived by a group of people. And then a smaller group of people dressed up like Indians went out and did what they did. And no more tax on tea because they threw it in the water. I believe that's what it was. Because we had 13 colonies here from, that were British rule. That's why when you go to New England, you'll see Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Connecticut, Commonwealth of, whatever. And you'll see that. Okay? It, wow. Throat just got dry, sorry. We see that in New England. Why do they call it New England? Because it was. The state of New York, basically, well, FYI, was actually called New Yorkshire. Okay? And so on and on and on, and you can go back in history and check all this out and go do the homework. There'll be a pop quiz at the end of the day. Just kidding. But when you look at all of what's going on in the history of the United States, from the first settlers here in the, I believe it was the late 1500s or early 1500s, somewhere around in there, they came here, to today, you see a political evolution, a political process happening. And in the 1200s, you had the Magna Carta in England, and that was brought over here and used in the Bill of Rights. You had several other documents and several other things coming together all throughout a 200, 300-year period, right? Or actually not that long. It's about 150 to 200 years. And then in 1776, you had this big, huge, battle, or 1773, which culminated in 1776 with the signing of the Declaration of Independence from British rule. So think about this for a minute. This country is not that old in comparison to the Chinese dynasties and British rule and all of that. This country is not that old. In fact, it's pretty, it's I would consider a teenager in the whole scope of the rest of the world. So what makes this country so special? We decided that we would not be ruled by tyranny. We would not be ruled by the church, as the Church of England goes to the Parliament and says, hey, this is what you need to do. I don't think they do that so much now, but they did, 200 years ago. But they still have their fingers in Parliament. The City of London is completely separated from the, London capital. So they've got their own little thing going on there too as well. But what makes the United States so special, so unique? Liberty and freedom. We don't want anything else. We want full liberty and full freedom. We want to be free to go from, hell, if we want to go from San Antonio, Texas, down to Guatemala or down to, Mexico City, we want to be able to do that without having trouble. You know what I mean? I've been to Canada, by the way. It was easier getting over there than it was getting back. So, yeah, I only had to show my passport twice. So that was cool. But we shouldn't. In the States, the United Nations is discussing things with Congress, kind of working together, and Congress is totally balking at the idea that the United Nations wants you and I to have papers to cross from one state to another. But the United Nations is pushing back like the bully in the schoolyard. Well, you and I, we the people, have to stand up to the bully and smack him in the face. We have to. If we want our liberties and freedoms to stay as they are, or to get rid of all the executive orders, repeal all those things which literally are tearing away our freedoms and liberties, and get back to the rule of law of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, then we have to do something. I've heard this word revolution thrown around many, many times. And I've heard the term secession thrown around a bunch of times. You cannot have a secession. No state can have a secession without a revolution. Go back in history. Look at come on. There was a civil war going on, for goodness sakes, 1861 to 1864. Come on. We had Confederate President Jefferson Davis, Northern President, Union President Abraham Lincoln. Well, what do you think that was about? There was a bunch of things they were fighting about, but part of it was secession. And what is so unique about the U.S. is that we do have liberty and freedom to, as if you heard earlier, JD and Sonny calling in, we do have the ability to not only agree, but to disagree. Not only to hold other people accountable, hold ourselves accountable and responsible, but we also have the liberty and freedom to take the next step and say, oh, I screwed up. I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't finish school because I dropped out. My family was sick and I needed to take care of them. So years later, I'm going to go back to school. We have the freedom to do that. In other countries, if your family's sick and you leave school, that's it, buddy. You're taking care of your family, And until we had it defined by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in 1791, we were just running all over the place doing whatever we wanted. I say that and I'm being, I'm being facetious, really. There was common sense, there was other things. But look at it, though. Look, just examine this just for a minute. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights literally is the rule of law for the United States of America. Not the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's not. I already told you why. The UN wants to take complete control of the United States and suck us dry of everything that we have and give it to everybody else. We, the people, you and I, have the opportunity to say, we're not doing that. Then again, how many people in this country out of the 315 million people in this country, probably 50 million of them are, kind of sitting back wondering what's going to happen. But we have enough people here to go to Washington, D.C. and just say, look, this is how it's going to be. The Constitution of the United States of America, period, end of sentence. We want you to repeal all executive orders and leave office now. Whoever the president is, Name the person. I don't care. Executive order's been going on since, early in the presidencies of this country. Okay? But I mean, it says right here in the in the preamble of the Constitution, it says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, and provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America." So we, the people, ordain this through the representatives in Philadelphia, of course, when this was put together. But think about this. This country is so unique that we're allowing other people to say, "Oh, thank you for voting us into office. Now we'll just, do what we want." It's been going on for 50 years more. So my point is this, and I'm ranting, I know, I'm sorry, I apologize. My point is this. If you have something in your area, whether it's a thought that you have or a desire to create your own business or whatever it may be, you are free to do so. Other countries don't have that kind of freedom. You ever seen these third world Muslim countries? Women are, all you see is little slits where the eyes are, because they have the burqas on and all that. Excuse me, no. Some over in I believe it's in China, children at 4 or 5 years old, they're put on computers right there, boom. Same thing in Japan, I think. In Australia, they want the freedoms we have, but they don't have them. I mean, here I live in Nevada, an open carry state. I can carry my weapon on me if I want. Walk down the street, doesn't matter. It's an open carry state. I don't need a concealed carry permit. Other states, you can't do that. California, you can't do that. Florida, you can't do that. Illinois, thank goodness somebody got a brain in their head and figured that one out. Now you can do it. They tried to put a ban on concealed carry permits, and the judge went, no, these people have a Second Amendment right to carry their weapon outside of their home and business. There you go. Slammed them. So now people can do that in Illinois. Other countries, you can't do that. Can you walk down as a citizen and walk down the streets in Baghdad and carry your weapon on your side? No, you'd be shot in a heartbeat. Military be coming up, putting their foot on your neck, throwing, that kind of thing. No. This country is unique. Other countries strive to have the freedoms that we have and the liberties that we have. But somebody higher up in the offices decided they're not going to play that game. And they usurped the office of the presidency of the United States of America. And it started in 1913 with President Woodrow Wilson when he signed the Federal Reserve Act and the Internal Revenue Act behind closed doors, giving the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all of that, everything they wanted financially. By the way, the Federal Reserve Bank, quote unquote, it's not federal, has no reserves of ours, and is completely and totally private, and belongs to the six major, or is run by the six major banks in the country. And all their money goes in there, which goes back to the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and all that, because this is a private bank. They started that in 1913. President Woodrow Wilson signed the documents. And then guess what happened a year later? Hello, World War I. Didn't know how to pay for the war, so we got involved because the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers played both sides, loaned us the money, and, now we got to pay it back in taxes. Okay, which, FYI, Senator Harry Reid said no. Senator Harry Reid said that taxes are voluntary. An interviewer asked him, okay, if they're voluntary, why are people going to prisons? He says, well, they didn't pay their taxes, but you just said they're voluntary. Yeah, but Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, yes. The person who grew up in Searchlight, Nevada? Yeah. That same Harry Reid. Democrat. Seriously. I'm getting a bunch of Skype people. I get a bunch of Skype messages. I wanted to make sure that you understood where I stood on the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Constitution, and where I saw the separation and which one I would rather want for the rule of law in the United States. That would be the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Because, seriously, why would you want other countries, that's the United Nations, there's all kinds of other countries in there, telling you what you can and cannot do? When the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America gives you that protection to do whatever it is you wanted to do. So think about that one as well. Hey, because earlier my browser crashed and I lost, had to come back and redo and bring up all kinds of other stuff. I'm going to get out of here. I didn't want to, take up too much of your time because I know you got your night to finish. And I want to remind you, first of all, thank you, Sonny and JD from Mobster Boss Radio. Go to mobsterbossradio.com or Mobster Boss Radio Live right here on Spreaker. Say thank you for calling in earlier. I appreciate that very much. Tomorrow is Open Forum Friday. I will have a line open. I have my Skype open, basically, is what it is. I only got one line. So call in tomorrow, please. I want to hear what you have to say. And we'll go from there. In the meantime, folks, I wanted to put that out there and just say, hey, this is the difference between the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Constitution. So I wanted to get that. I may touch upon it tomorrow. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Like the page, subscribe, all that good stuff over there. Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. In the meantime, folks, may your Thursday go well. We will see you tomorrow on the Views Expressed with Open Forum Friday. Hey, if you don't want to call in, you can just jump in the chat room and drop a subject in there and we'll chat about it. But I shall see you later. And I want to leave you with this. I always like leaving people with this because it's true. We the people have the power, for we are America.